Broads Media.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on in to Sports Talk with Broads. I want to start this show off by calling myself the ultimate flip-flopper, okay? Because Nick Sirianni one day, I think, has earned the opportunity with 3 straight playoff appearances to walk into next season with 2 new coordinators and getting some sort of possible chance to get this thing back on track. Then the next day, I'll wake up and feel that he never deserves to wear an Eagles logo again in his life, whether that's on his visor, whether it's on a beautiful long sleeve quarter zip, whether it's a crew neck from Mitchell and Ness, okay, it doesn't matter. He doesn't deserve to rep it. So it is just depending on the day where I fall. But the more and more I sat on this, right, because I need an answer. I can't keep doing this, okay? I can't be a pathetic clown that feels different no matter what. Like every day it's something different. No, have some balls, Broads. Have some toughness to you and pick a damn side. That's what I said to myself when I was brushing my teeth today. And when I spit, there was a little blood. I was a little rough around the edges, all right? I hit those gums a little too tense, and that's because I knew today was the day I was going to make a decision. And my decision is, drum roll, please, bum. I don't think Nick Sirianni deserves to come back. He lost the locker room, and you may lose football games, and you might not have a ton of talent defensively, but when the entire team no longer thinks that the guy in charge has what it takes, you can't gain that respect back. Unfortunately, not as a person, okay? I'm sure that they love Nick Sirianni deep down as a guy, the man he is, his core values outside of the game of football. But in regards to being a head coach, being a leader of men, getting them over the hump and winning again, once you lose that respect, it is so damn hard to dig yourself out of that. I don't believe Nick Sirianni has what it takes. Therefore, you might need to have a very tough conversation if you are Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie. And if it goes as bad as it has been against Arizona, against the New York Giants, if that's what it looks like against Baker Mayfield, who just needed a W so damn badly, so they pop off for a magical 9-0 win. If you lose to that team, I'm sorry. It is unacceptable if you can't get any sort of offense going. Brian Baldinger broke it down. These blitzes. The Giants do one thing. You know, and by the way, they're no longer bringing back that defensive coordinator. And yeah, there would be some sort of value in a mind like that, being able to push buttons for the defense here in Philadelphia. And I'm talking once Matt Patricia and Sean Desai get kicked to the curb and the entire season's over. Man, I would love maybe if we got our hands on that. And it just gives a good veteran, intense, very logical, very detailed, very structured, identity-filled defense, and one, historically speaking, under him that would actually connect with the city of Philly. I think fans would love Wink and what he does. But yeah, I'm sorry that Nick Sirianni, he's lost control. And if there's one game left of the regular season heading into a postseason run, and the message from the skill position team, A.J. Brown specifically, is it's time to start believing in him. That's bad. That is a bad sign, and it raises my eyebrows big time. This team, one of the reasons why I always felt that they had a chance to stay involved, it's quite simple. It's your veteran leadership. Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, Brandon Graham, guys who have been around the block for a long period of time. They've seen it all. They've been through the grind. They've seen a lot of different coaches and a lot of different styles to it. if it's going to even break them, you know that they have no idea what they're doing. His offensive philosophy is stupid. There's zero awareness in what the other team is doing. When was the last time that you knew a team was bad in an area on the field, and then all week long you could tell the coaching staff put together a game plan to expose those deficiencies? I'll tell you for free, it hasn't happened. For example, let's say a team struggles against a running back who can catch out of the backfield. You don't see a game where DeAndre Swift gets 100 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns, and you expose them the way that teams look in the middle of the field for us. And here's Hassan Reddick dropping back into coverage to start the football game off. What type of tone is that? The Giants' offensive line sucks. They can't do anything in this league at all. You would think a team that's struggling to pass rush to begin with could get one of the most explosive guys in the league going after Tyrod Taylor, going after a struggling O-line. No, let's somehow, some way make a man feel miserable and very uncomfortable in the middle of the field, and then he hesitates, starts charging towards Tyrod Taylor, and now there's a wide open play in the middle of the field because you're asking him to do something that isn't his best skill set. It's not his best attribute, and I think that is horrible coaching. Poor job by Matt Patricia and poor job by Nick Sirianni for failing to attack the New York Giants with a better offensive game plan. What did you do all week? I want a 5-page paper, and I don't want it double-spaced. I want it to be thick, okay? Nothing better than some thickness. I want this thing to be legible. I want this thing to go into detail. I need to know what you did from the last game against Arizona, day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, second by second, with film. I want you to go back to the tape in the NovaCare complex and match it up with exactly the 5 pages so I know what you did to put your team in what you thought was the best position to succeed in MetLife Stadium, because I don't buy it for a second that you put in the time. How about Hargrave's comments? All right, he's speaking about the difference in culture in San Francisco and compared it basically to Pat Riley, the Miami Heat. They have a certain way about their structure. All right, you go to Miami, you know it's their way, or get your ass out of town. You're not going to fit. It won't fly. You got to be so damn dedicated and so damn willing to pour your blood on that court for the Miami Heat logo. And then I guess the Eagles are just country club material, where they're sitting back with all these Vineyard Vine style long sleeve button-ups with preppy salmon shorts, and maybe they wear boat shoes, they're wearing Sperry's, and they're kicking back and barely practicing, not putting in the work ethic. Well, it doesn't surprise me that I'm hearing that from Hargrave. You got to go to war every day at practice. They are bringing the intensity, and if you go back to what happened here in South Philadelphia when San Fran came to town, I think that beatdown describes it pretty easily. No, you wouldn't even have to tell me that. I just saw the tape. I saw the 4 quarters, and I saw how much they bent you over and pounded you into the dirt. So I don't need any other information. I watched the stupid one-on-one battle, and it disgusts me that it happened the way that it did. There's no way you are 10-1 and you're in prime position to have the division win. And that's why when I hear Dallas Goedert speak after the game, it makes my blood boil. Because in what universe does a head coach who knows what he's doing allows this to happen? If it does happen, I'm going to push back on Goedert, but just hear me out. Maybe we've been on cruise control a little bit, which is never something you want to say or want a team to do. But I know this team is going to be rolling and ready to go next week. I'm not buying into that. You got to prove it to me. You think I'm a fool? All right, you think I'm dumb? You think I'm stupid? There's no way that I'm putting any sort of emotional cash down on the Eagles going to Tampa and winning, no matter what the line tells me. And the line actually is making me believe for a half a second that maybe they do win this game. Doesn't mean it's pretty. Doesn't mean mean it's because they're finally playing smooth football. It's because I don't think it takes smooth football to beat this version of Tampa Bay. Even though we got some banged up pieces to the roster, and it seems like possibly we're in a good spot here with Jalen Hurts compared to the alternative with the finger in regards to a fracture, no fracture, it's still going to bother him. It's still going to be extremely difficult to twist that football out of the fingertips nicely with a spiral. But if you're out there, damn it, there's only one way that I hold you accountable, and that's by executing and making this offense look like it knows what it's doing. It was unreal. Those Baldy breakdowns were sickening to see how embarrassing they were with the most obvious blitzes shown, and you do nothing about it. You're set up to fail prior to the snap even happening because it's clear where they're sending pressure, what they're going to do, and when you hike the football, there's one free guy that's just bringing the money, man. He's just bringing the money maker and barreling through and bringing Jalen Hurts to the ground. You got backup tight ends going up against one of their better guys. And it's like, hold on a second. Where did we hear that before? We've only spent how long ripping apart the 49ers for being so silly and for not processing your matchups properly. And now here's Nick Sirianni and Brian Johnson doing the same damn thing. There's no way that the core guys that are supposed to sell the message and be an extension of the head coach in the room can do it if it's not authentic, meaning that there's no way Jason Kelce looks at Sirianni's eyes and sees his game plan and really does think that we're going to win this game. They don't remember the feeling of winning, and when it is that far gone and when it evaporates that quickly, I don't know if you get it back, and it sucks to say that. But this Dallas Goedert thing, right? In what world, as a coaching staff, can you let the guys be okay? You have to win the division. And even in that final game, you have a chance to win the division. So if you have a group of men that don't feel like showing up and think that they're already written into the dance so they don't have to bring it anymore, then you're not doing your job as a leader of men to get them to buy in, even though you already clinched your spot in the postseason. There's still many things at the cost here. Right at the time, you're 10-1. Go get the number 1 seed. That can't slip away. That could be the difference in winning a Super Bowl or not. Having all the games go through your home barn, and by the way, you have to play one less game because everyone else is beating up on one another, and you get to chill. And then week 18 probably plays out differently too, where AJ isn't battling an injury and you don't lose Sidney Brown and Jalen Hurts' finger isn't damaged. So all of that is a big reason that we're even in this predicament or the reason why that's happening is because you put yourself in this predicament that you let the awesome, phenomenal NFC record go away. But the reason why I don't even believe that's the case, to take a little off of Nick Sirianni, I guess, is very, very noticeable to me. They've been pressing for 6 weeks now. They're a home run hitter who's going through a 0 for 35 stretch that's striking out at will and chasing sliders that are 5 feet off the plate. Now, I don't know if there's anybody that comes to mind the second I say that phrase, the second I bring up that hypothetical, of course. That wouldn't be anybody that we have to witness bat 4 times a night and bat clean up, bat 5th, bat at the top of your order, right? Like in the meat and potatoes of your order. No. There's nobody that comes to mind. No. But that's what this team was like watching them. They were trying to do too much. They were trying to force things into their offense. Nothing really bled off of one another or showed any consistency. Nothing that happened in the third quarter was because of how they set something up in the second quarter. That's not part of who they are. Now, they do have a lot of losers in this locker room, unfortunately. Maybe a lot is unfair, but there are some, and one being Quez Watkins. That guy's a clown. Can you believe that he went on Instagram afterwards boasting about his useless touchdown? If you're actually confident because you scored that touchdown, and if you actually see tremendous value in that, Come on, dude. Your brain doesn't work the right way. In what world do you think that you're in a spot where you should essentially be taking jabs at the fans? Because that's what that is. We don't believe in you. There's reasons why. You stink. You've been here long enough and you've made zero impact. Quite frankly, you've hurt this team more so than you've helped this team. So how about you look yourself in the damn mirror instead of thinking your head's all big all of a sudden? Because in a game where you got your asses kicked and you were down to a disgusting franchise 24-0. Whoop-de-damn fucking do, you got yourself in the end zone. You can't take pride in that, and the fact that you do tells me that you're a losing player. Now, I want to touch on one more reason why. This was a biggie, okay? I can't let this one slip. It's relatable to Mike Tomlin and why I'm losing faith in Nick Sirianni. Before I get to that, though, HelloFresh is the greatest thing to ever happen to my life, besides my wife and my daughter, of course. But this is so big, and it's such an improvement. At dinner time, they think I'm Chef Boyardee. They think I could work at a 5-star restaurant the way that I'm looking crispy in the kitchen. And HelloFresh is basically farm-fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes that get delivered right to your doorstep. There's over 40 recipes to choose from every week, so there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. HelloFresh does all the shopping for you, so you don't have to worry about taking time out of your day to go to ShopRite or anywhere else. Ingredients arrive right at your doorstep, and there's pictured step-by-step recipe cards. It doesn't get much easier than that. The best part about it, HelloFresh is 25% less expensive than takeout, so that means you get easy home-cooked meals on the table and even more money back in your pocket. So go to HelloFresh.com/50broads for 50% off plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com/50broads for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. So Mike Tomlin did a sit-down the other day, a one-on-one sit-down. I forget the woman who did it, but it was fantastic, and it was just shining light on how amazing his career has been, what type of adversity they battled this season, how they're able to win football games with Mason Rudolph, how they're even in a potential spot to make the playoffs after everything that they've been through. Mike Tomlin's a genius. That guy is a leader of men. If I could put my hand in the dirt for one snap in the National Football League, there's not one person I would rather do it for than Mike Tomlin. Like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. The phone number's on. You could call the Anytime Hotline at 856-442-9805, Mike Tomlin, if you happen to be listening to the show. But they were asking him about when it does get this tough and when it does get to this very high, deep emotional time, who do you lean on in those situations? And his response was magnificent. Nobody. This is why I get paid. These are the answers that I have to find. These are the hard decisions that I have to make. When I reflect, it's on me. That's why I'm the head coach. And there was just something that gave me goosebumps. And then I wondered, how would Nick Sirianni answer that? And he'd say it's a collaborative effort. I speak with Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman. Not that there's one way to do things. Okay, they won a Super Bowl, the Eagles did, with Doug Peterson and him having a collaborative effort with the front office. That's way sooner than when the Pittsburgh Steelers last won theirs. Not that I wouldn't want Mike Tomlin over Doug Peterson or Nick Sirianni, because of course, oh my God, are you kidding me? I would sign up for that tenure every single day of the week and 72 times on Sunday. So come on now, it's not rocket science here. I was just reflecting on what would Sirianni say there, and that confidence, that swag, that approach that Mike Tomlin has that makes you focus in. He's got a Kobe Bryant voice. He's got a voice like that where when he speaks, your attention is so drawn to it. I was actually thinking, too, when I was watching, how cool it would be to be maybe an 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old player, I guess older players, after your college tenure, you get drafted by the Steelers is what I'm trying to get at here, and you get to play 10 years, football in the NFL for 10 years under Mike Tomlin and the type of man you are afterwards. I mean, that's just got to be an incredible experience and an awesome journey. We don't have anything like that. We don't have anything like that. A.J. Brown isn't thinking about how Nick Sirianni has shaped him as a man. Okay? He might be talking about how he'd be mocking Sirianni in 15 years. Remember that guy Nick? Remember that guy Nick who coached us? And he would tell the whole entire media about how he fed his sons Fritos on his taco soup, or how he was making some sort of beef and he put on mashed potato. That's what he did. And he would talk about his brother. That's what we get. Remember all that nonsense? My brother coached this, and man, I hope they win. Yeah, I hope that your brother wins his U16 football game too, Nick. How about you give us answers on why you guys are miserable? How about you let me know why your team stinks? How come your offense is a disaster with no sort of life, no pulse? How come your team doesn't even show up to play? If your team doesn't even want to put on the cleats and put on the pads, regardless if they already clinched a playoff spot or not, then you're not holding your end of the bargain as a coach. And I don't know if you can make up ground once it goes bad. So that's why it's hard for me to hold my hat on some of the good out of Nick Sirianni and some of the smart seasons that we had from him. The first year, very electric for a first-year head coach to be on the road, on the sidelines in a playoff atmosphere. That's very large for him becoming who he's eventually going to be as a head coach. And Jalen as a starter, that was a big turning point for this franchise last year. There's a lot of good, but once something happened, you kind of lose it. You never are the same. You never recover. Where Nick Sirianni is now, I don't think he can recover. And I actually did an overnight shift Sunday night into Monday morning, and I ran into the morning show because they were coming on at 6, and I was doing 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. So I was speaking to John Ritchie, is where I'm getting at here. And, man, he's like, it's a different beast here. I don't think we're overreacting. There's real strong considerations on moving on from Nick Sirianni. There should be, at least. That's what he was referring to, is you can make the argument. You could legitimately write it down on why it makes sense to let this guy go, because this is unacceptable. And this is more than just losing games. This is more than just an uncomfortable stretch. This is historic level failure. And your scheme is so horrendous that you can't defend any of it. There's never a time where you attack with this sense of greatness, and you could tell that you put in the work, you put in the time, and you mastered the craft of that game plan. It's like, wow, all right, man, he earned his paycheck that week. If I'm Lori, I don't know if this man has earned his paychecks. That's a problem. It really is. I'd say let's go back to Sean Desai. Oh, man, if I'm making that call, I am going back to Sean Desai. But if I'm Sean Desai, I don't want a second of your time, damn it. Don't you dare look at me in the face. 2 more things on Sirianni real quick, and then we'll pop in a couple anytime hotline calls. And these are kind of funny, but not, it's real. He's been cursing a lot, huh? Is that a sign of breaking? He's dropping the S word. He's saying curses. You got to bleep it out. Well, you're only doing that because, one, maybe you're trying to cater to the fans. Maybe he thinks the fans would like that edge, attitude, cursing, one of us, potty mouth. I think it's not authentic at all, which is crazy because Sirianni normally is himself, but I'm not buying into that unless this is what it's like when he has no answers. And Zach Berman, who's in that locker room nonstop, said after the game he really wanted to hear what it would sound like, and he really wanted to hear what Sirianni would be. And he goes, yeah, it's the same thing we've been hearing, because I don't think he knows any other buttons to push. I think he's got one motor. He's got one way. He only knows one thing to do. And he was pretty much saying that, hey, you're 0-0 now. So now it's time to go take it where it matters most. This is where all the marbles are. So there's no going back now. You either put up or shut up. You either bring it or you don't. You either go win a damn football game and keep this postseason run potentially alive, or your ass is going golfing. Now, it may sound good to some of you, okay? Quez Watkins, I'm talking to you. Maybe some of you want to get out of here as quickly as possible. I saw the look on Sirianni, too. I haven't seen it until the press conference that happened today, Monday, on the day after presser. It had a very Doug Peterson-like view to me, when it looks like you've been in prison for 15 years and you've been going through fights and you've been facing 1-on-4 fights and there's gang members that you got to battle with every single day in the prison cell, things like that. That's what Nick Sirianni looks like right now after this one season of football. Once you get that view, once you get that look in your eyes, the entire team knows that you're toast. And once you're toast, you can't go back to not being toast. That's just real, okay? But he's been cursing a lot, and he tried to be sly. And I don't like this move out of Nick. All right, he wore a visor that had the Super Bowl on the side of it. The Super Bowl. Come on, Nick. I think that was yo, motherfuckers. Listen up. You see this patch on the side of the visor? Remember, I've been to the bowl before. Okay, Nick. You've also been at the bottom of the mountain. You also been at the top of the mountain and then fell so damn quickly. You're lucky to have your job right now. So you're right. It is an accomplishment to get to the Super Bowl. What does it tell you? That there's serious reasons why it's fair to wonder if you deserve to keep your job, and you were at the highest peak of the entire sport 1 year ago, and now you're at the lowest, where guys who have played in the league, nationally speaking, are breaking down film, just trying to understand why. Why would they make this decision here? What are they thinking? I need to know. That can't happen when that many guys who have played the sport are so lost and dazed and wondering where it went wrong and how you could even be here with all the talent on your offense. Okay, we're going to take calls. Before we do, though, let me tell you about my friends over at TickPick. If you're looking to go to an Eagles game, a Sixers game, a Flyers game, Eagles game, what the hell am I saying? They're not having any home games. But anyway, you can get $10 off your purchase if you click the link down below in the description. My promo code is activated. Their concerts, don't forget about concerts, and TickPick has the best prices guaranteed. Their ticket prices will beat any of the major competing marketplaces. They are so confident about it, they guarantee it. If you find the same seats elsewhere at a better price than TickPick, you get 110% of the price difference in form of TickPick credit. There's also upfront pricing, so no more doing math in your head to prepare for how much extra you plan on spending on top of the listed price than on other sites, because the price you see at checkout is the price you pay, period, end of story. There's no added service fees or anything else, so get started and join the TickPick family. I wanted to get to calls earlier than this, but I knew I had a lot on my mind. So I will send my apologies, but let's just go to calls here.
Hey, man, just wanted to say thank you so much for what you do. Sorry you've had to put up with such horrible performances recently, and many blessings and happy returns, dude. Me and my boy get a lot of entertainment out of watching you go off about when the Eagles perform great and when they take a rear end kicking. Thanks for what you do again, man. Can't say that enough. We're fellow New Jerseyans. We got your back. We support you. And hopefully we get a better performance in the playoffs. Much love, Holmes. God bless.
Oh, geez. I don't even know what to say. Thank you so much for that phone call. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. I truly, honestly, thank you so much. The love and support has always been wild, whether it's text messages on the text board, whether it's some Twitter DMs, some TikTok DMs, Instagram, real DMs, you name it. You guys are just phenomenal, outstanding people, and without you, none of this would even be here. So thank you all so much. And I wish I wasn't in pain screaming about this team. I get it. It's a comfort zone because I'm doing exactly what you feel, right? I'm screaming and spit's flying out my mouth, and maybe you're watching this pod or listening to this pod and, you know, you're laying down in bed, it's 2 a.m., and you don't have the luxury of being able to slap on the lights and just start freaking the fuck out at your wall, right? Because I know you want to. So I get to do that. We get to share that experience together. You know what I'd rather experience? A fucking W in an NFC championship game at the Link where the teams go into the bowl, right? A huge game at the Link. All the eyes are staring in South Philly. The place is going berserk. It is so loud. Mike Trout is there. Bradley Cooper is there. anybody else who's famous. Meek Mill is there. You got Kevin Hart in the building. Bryce Harper's in attendance, just sitting in row one like a casual, like a standard, like just a standard civilian in the city, while all the other famous pro people are chilling in the boxes. Oh, man. And then the Birds win 48-7. I can't even do this. I didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. Didn't feel right. No. Nope. Can't even do it. Can't even get to the point where I have fun with an obnoxious hypothetical. Why? Because this team has no fight. I apologize for whatever the hell you want to call that garbage that I just attempted. Sickening. I should lose my job. And the boss here, real asshole, real douche. But anyway, the Giants with the push-tush, the tush-push, they just jumped right over, helmet to helmet, didn't give a damn, and that's obviously on purpose because no team can stop what the Eagles do, so why not just take a cheap shot? Why not just try and cheat a little bit? What's the worst that happens? They're going to convert anyway. Look at their conversion rate. And guess what? Not one man stepped up. Not one man got in the face. Not one man cared at all about what the Giants were doing. They were pushing you around because they played with more pride, as I alluded to yesterday in the post-game pod. You can't let that happen, bro. You just can't let that happen. It's a disgrace, and it really does define the head coach.
Hey, bros. This is the day after that bullshit last night. I'm not even going to continue. I just want to put something out there. Hopefully you use this call because I want to nitpick your mind on this topic.
Hit me.
Do y'all realize how much of an issue it was to bring in Matt Patricia? Nobody. I've been saying it. Everybody called me crazy. Your captain was disrespected by this man, and I mean completely disrespected. You think he got wind of and I'm talking about Darius Slay here, he got wind of Matt Patricia becoming the defensive coordinator of the side, and that's when we lost this team. Because when one of your captains says, this dude's no good, he's a piece of shit, and he disrespected me as a man, saying I'm a bum, I'm not playing for him, I'm going to go get my knee surgery, ain't nobody going to give a fuck. You got multi-million-dollar grown-ass men. If they think you're a disrespectful piece of shit, they're not going to play for you. At least with the side, they knew they could respect him. He might not have been good, but they would give him their all. I knew bringing in Matt Patricia in the offseason was going to cause turmoil, and here it is.
That's a good point. I can't argue against that. And remember, they're using the Jonathan Gannon excuse, the way the Super Bowl ended, him taking the Arizona job, as the reason why they weren't able to maybe get the candidates that they were looking for. They got the last shot at it, too. I remember Adam Schefter being a mouthpiece for Howie, and they were basically saying we didn't get the selections that we were looking for, yada, 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 for whatever reasons. Multiple different reasons, just for being in the Super Bowl and all that stuff, right? But, man, when you bring him in, that was their defensive mechanism. That's what they targeted Matt Patricia to be. So it was always highlighted that if anything was to fail, Matt Patricia would be the guy. And you're right, Darius, once you lose that respect, to the point I'm making overall here with the head coach here, once you are broken, there's really no fixing that relationship. Now, Nick Sirianni, I don't think, is at the level of how Matt Patricia handled people. I really don't think this team dislikes Nick Sirianni, the man. They might actually dislike Matt Patricia, the man, and lose respect for the man. But as for a football coach, I don't think they trust him from an X and O, from a game calling, from a game management standpoint. That's where they lost the respect for Nick Sirianni, the coach. And once you lose that, it is all she wrote. And that's basically why we're watching the failure. And maybe there is a correlation with Darius Slay electing to remove himself when the whole Sean Desai, Matt Patricia thing happened. Matt Patricia should not be the defensive coordinator. Sean Desai at least had some moments. Miami, second half against Kansas City, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers early on. There were some moments against the Dallas Cowboys that were okay. But, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything okay. And the talent has been significantly worse that you're facing. So it's clear to me that the better defensive coordinator is Sean Desai. Crazy, isn't it?
Hey, bros. First-time caller. Honestly, I don't know what to say about the team. At this point, I'm not even mad anymore. I'm not going to, yell and raise my voice over this team. They just don't want it. You can tell. Defense is the worst I've ever seen in, years.
Yeah.
They're playing 10 yards off on, a 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6.
They all do, though.
One of the worst third down defenses. And I was telling my friends, you know what? Yeah, let's play them. Let's play the starters for week 18. Maybe Washington could find a way to upset and beat Dallas, and you win, and you get the 2nd seed. But it wasn't worth it. Because now you're without Devontae Smith. Jalen Hurts messes up his finger. And A.J. Brown is injured. It's not worth it.
It is still worth it, though. I can put my head on my pillow at night knowing you did the right thing before the results were finished. I don't have a problem with the division on the line, especially when you saw Washington with the lead and they were up 10-7 and they were hanging in there. Nah, you can't just give up the division. Look, the difference in this team, as great as AJ is, as great and important as Jalen Hurts' fingers are, I don't think at the end of the day that's what's going to hold this team back. Unfortunately, they were so dysfunctional, you had to put them out there because they need every snap to possibly gain the tiniest amount of confidence in the world. So that's just the predicament you were in because of the bad 5 of 6 that you were losing in that stretch. So, yeah, it's a shame. It's a damn shame that we are here, and I can't stop thinking about it. Every damn day, it's all I think about. All right, everybody, I love you guys all to death. I really do. I appreciate you. You're phenomenal, fantastic human beings, and we'll be talking very, very soon on the next one.